Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing more anti-coloring cards. Yes, it's a thing with me. And I'm featuring these Missees stamps and dies from Karin, Joan, and Studio Light. When I saw these, I knew I had to get my hands on them. And Karin Joan reached out to me and said, "Can I send you a package of these stamps?" And I was like, absolutely. And she sent me the most generous package here. She sent me so many of these Missees stamps and dies. I'm going to kind of walk you through what she sent me, and then we're going to walk through a few of these cards. Now, I love these because these all have the elements to create these little girls. Now, these are the smaller ones, and these are the larger ones. So the larger ones are kind of based off of this Melanie Stamp set here. It has the base of the face and the head and that sort of thing. And then you can add on to customize these gals with the TATJANA and the Miranda stamp sets. Now that just gives you more options for their eyes and their hair and their glasses and that sort of thing. Now, if you love the look of these gals, but you don't want to build your own customized girl, there are some stamp sets that have some gals already built. There's a little pets stamp set, and you can see they have great sentiments in them as well. Now, in this line of Missees stamps and dies, there's also some dies to build up your own customizable girls. There are some envelope dies and shape dies. There's these smaller stamp sets. There are also some solid paper pads here, and I'm just going to flip you through. This one has some skin tones and some neutral tones. And then there's a colored paper pad here. There's pattern paper. There are paper elements with some foiled details. There are some rub-ons. Really, there is so much that coordinates within this grouping or this whole line that it was so fun to kind of mix and match the different pieces and just kind of have fun creating. Now, on this particular day when I was creating, oh, by the way, check out these vellums. I absolutely love these gold foiled vellums. There are so many different patterns in this pack here, and I will be using those today. And I will link all of the products that I can find here in the YouTube description as well as over on my blog so that you can find them here in the US because they are a Netherlands-based company. But as I was mentioning before, on this particular day, I wanted to create with these stamps, but I really didn't have the time to sit down and color. Now, coloring can be one of those things that's pretty time consuming. And for me, coloring people with hair and skin tones, that's even more time consuming for me than coloring, say, like a heart or a flower or something, because I really have to think about how the shading is, or I feel like I have to do that. So today I decided I wasn't going to put that pressure on myself, but I was going to create with these adorable Missees because I love them so much, and I'm not going to color them. So I'm starting out with the Melanie stamp set, and this is the base for kind of her shoulders and her face. Now, this Melanie stamp has all of kind of the base pieces that you need to kind of get started. And then the TATJANA and the Miranda stamps have some more customizable options. So I'm stamping these on some Neenah Solar White 80-pound cardstock. I'm using an 80-pound cardstock today because I'm going to be fussy cutting these out. Now, you can't really create coordinating dies for a stamp set like this because I am customizing each of these gals. So I'm stamping the base of them. All of this comes from the Melanie stamp set. And then I'm going to build up different faces and different clothings and earrings and hair to customize each of these little ladies here. So while I have this kind of mounted on the lid of my Misty, I'm creating several of these gals. And I'm going to change up, as I mentioned before, their hair and their faces to kind of customize and make several different ones. Now for this piece, I went ahead and lined it up on the paper and just kind of looked through the stamp to get my positioning. And I wasn't terribly happy with the way this was positioned. And so I thought I would show you a trick that I learned from Jennifer McGuire, because we all learn all the tricks from Jennifer McGuire, am I right? And that is to use the backer sheet for the stamp set to help you line up the stamp. So I have this clear transparent backer that comes with the stamp set, and I'm positioning that where I want it on my already stamped base. Then I took the stamp and lined that up over the printed transparency, and I picked up my stamp using the lid of my Misty, and then I can remove that backer sheet from the stamp set. And now my stamp is in the perfect position, and I can stamp several more of these hairlines that include the ears onto my gal's base here. Now I created several of these ladies or gals or missies all at once because I wanted to, while I had them already mounted on the lid of the Misty, go ahead and create several more because it's really quick just to stamp new sheets of cardstock as you already have them mounted on. So I'm going to speed up the video here and I'm going to show you kind of how these come to life here. I have a little piece from the TATJANA stamp set to create kind of that shirt line on her shoulders. And then I have various facial expressions from the different stamp sets that are a part of the line. And then I went ahead and added hair and the top of the head from the various different stamp sets. And you can see here's the gals that I ended up with. Some of them have ponytails. Some of them have the cute little messy bun on top of their head. Some of them have a little bit shorter hairdo. And so I thought it was so much fun. You can create these little missies to look like the person that you're giving it to or to look like yourself. Now, once I had my gals created, I wanted to add some touches of gold to all of these stamped pieces. So I'm taking the glasses from one of the Missees stamp sets and I'm prepping the surface of my cardstock of this already stamped Missy here with my powder tool, and I'm stamping these glasses in Versamark ink. Then I'm going to grab these stamped pieces and I'm going to sprinkle some gold embossing powder over the top of them. Now, since I'm not adding any coloring to these ladies, I thought it would be cool to add some special pops of gold. So I'm going to have kind of this black, white, and gold theme going on. And so this is the first little part where I'm adding these touches of gold in the glasses. And then I'm going to heat set that. Now, these look great as is, but there's something that kind of magical that happens when you add more than one layer of embossing powder. So once I heat set these glasses, I went ahead and slid them back into my Misty because I made sure that all of my papers were in that lower right-hand corner as I stamped. I can position these back into my Misty and stamp in the exact same spot. Once again, I prepped the surface of my cardstock using my powder tool, and I'm stamping the glasses right on top of the already embossed image using Versamark ink again. Then I'm going to sprinkle on more gold embossing powder and I'm going to heat set that. And it is really going to make these gold embossed glasses just more dimensional, more shiny, and super smooth looking. Now, this could also be fun with some black pigment ink and some clear embossing powder to kind of build up the layers if you wanted to have some really thick black glasses instead of the gold glasses. I would start out with like a pigment ink, like a VersaFine Onyx Black pigment ink, stamp my glasses, add some clear embossing powder, and then go back and stamp with Versamark ink over the top of those and add a second layer of clear embossing powder to make some really super shiny and dimensional black glasses. That would be an option as well. But like I said, because I'm keeping the images black and white, I wanted to add some sort of special pop, and I thought these pops of gold would be a really cool way to add a little something special to these black and white images. Now, once I have them stamped, I'm going to go ahead and take a few of these Missies and I'm going to fussy cut them out. Now, I know fussy cutting is not for everyone, but I didn't really want to think about layout when I was stamping these Missies. So I went ahead and stamped them onto some 80-pound cardstock, and then I'm going to fussy cut them out using my scissors. It really didn't take too long. It's not a super complicated image to cut out, and you can see I have several of my Missies stamped, embossed, and cut out and ready to go on some card fronts. Now you'll notice here that all of my Missies have these great, fabulous, dangly earrings, and I thought those earrings were the perfect place to add a little more gold detail. And so I have this paint pen that I keep in my drawer of my craft room, and I pull it out when I want to add some gold details to stamped images. So I'm just taking this gold paint pen and filling in those earrings so I have another pop of gold. And then I used a super light R Copic marker to add a little bit of blush to the cheeks, a little bit of color to the tongue. And then I used a Midas Touch shimmer pen from Tonic to add a little bit of gold eyeshadow to these gals. So they have some special touches and a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of shine to them, even though I didn't take the time to color the entire image. So now that my Missees are all dolled up and ready to go, I grabbed some of the sentiments from some various stamp sets. A lot of these larger runs are from the Basic Wishes stamp set from Studio Light and Karin Joan. And I'm stamping them with my Misty stamping tool onto a piece of Nina Solar White heavyweight 110-pound cardstock. And I used some Versamark ink to stamp those down, and then I added my Brutus Monroe gilded embossing powder. And I'm making several sentiments at once, and I'm just going to take them over to my trimmer and trim them down into some basic banner shapes. Then I'm going to create my card base. Now today's cards actually measure 5 by 7 inches. So I have a piece of 7 by 10 inch cardstock, and I'm scoring that at 5 inches to create my side folding 5 by 7 card base. Now this is not a card base that I have done, or a card size that I've done a lot of, but these Missees are a little on the larger side, and while they do fit on an A2 size card, it's a little tight and there wasn't a lot of breathing room. So instead of putting them on an A2 size card base, I went ahead and created that 5 by 7 size card base. I die cut a couple of rectangles from the gold foiled vellum and the pattern paper, and then I used some foam adhesive to add my Missees on top with those embossed sentiment banners that I created earlier. Now overall, I kept these cards really simple, but the beauty of these Missees stamps and die collections is that you can really customize these to make the girls kind of look like whoever you're giving your card to, or look like yourself. I kind of think this one's along the lines of kind of what I look like. Maybe I don't wear glasses. But sometimes I wish I could pull it off. And so I'm just keeping the overall design of these very simple and very graphic. And I'm adding in pops of color using the pattern paper, and then the pops of gold on those embossed glasses and the earrings, and then on some of the headband pieces as well. And that completes my cards for today. Some really adorable cards featuring these Missees stamps and dies from Karin Joan and Studio Light. I absolutely love them. And I'm thinking about stamping some of these gals and taking them on vacation with me to color in those moments where I'm just kind of relaxing and I want to keep my hands busy. Now, I know a lot of times we see stamp sets like this and we're really intimidated because we don't feel like we can do it justice with coloring, but I wanted to show you that these are so much fun just in black and white with those few little accents that we added. You don't have to be a master colorist to use a stamp set like this. And there are a lot of ways to really add interest to these stamped images without coloring the entire thing. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube. So if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I will have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. As always, thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I am so glad you're here. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here on my YouTube channel so you don't miss any of my paper crafting and card making video tutorials. And if you loved this video, I would love it if you would share it with a friend. Thanks again for watching. I'm so glad you're here. And until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.